Welcome into the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star. Today is August 8th. It is a Monday, so that means it's time for What Sold on eBay. We're going to do things a little differently this week. We are going to start with the plush, all 2 plush that sold last week. And I have a couple highlights picked out along the top here to show you. But I didn't have that many highlights to pick out this week out of all of our sales that were mostly bread and butter. So what we're going to actually start with, I've pulled up our store here on eBay and filtered it out to solds just to kind of give you an idea of what really is selling right now and why Keith and I are willing to have a lot of bread and butter items in our store and do a volume-based business. You can see across the top here are all the expensive jeans I've picked out to show you this week. Well, that's more of a bread and butter. But we've got just all of these sales coming in on bread and butter shirts, bread and butter remotes, a tie. And these are all things that we paid $1 for or less. Our remotes, we paid 25 cents a pound. Most of these t-shirts were $1 bought wholesale. And a lot of the plush is $1 or less. So we're willing to do that. We always have been, actually. We built our business up as a volume-based business. But I know right now, while the economy is what it is, folks don't have discretionary income to spend like they used to. And I've been saying this for weeks and months. Other resellers in the community are saying this to you. A lot of the very successful eBay sellers that I know, that I'm friends with, that I talk to all the time, have moved to a more volume-based business, have started maybe lowering their average sale price to get more sales out the door. If somebody doesn't have $30 to spend on a shirt right now, they might spend $15 on 2. I mentioned that because both of these Wranglers went to the same buyer. So it's something to think about if you still are stuck on having to have an average sale price of 25 or 50 or 60 and it's working for you. That's great. If you have a specific niche that you're in and you have a way to get those types of goods or whatever you're selling consistently and they're consistently selling, then stick with what you're doing. If your sales have dropped considerably and you're not selling as much as you used to, and you're stubborn and you're not willing to try something new, then it's on you. If you're constantly getting, let's say you sell unique pens, for lack of a better off the top of the head example, but let's say you sell really fancy pens and they're $50 a piece, and you used to always sell 5 a day. And now you're only selling 2 a day. You still have your supply source where you can get them low cost of goods. I might consider, adding something else to the mix. And this has been a trend most of this year, especially over the summer. Folks just don't have a lot of discretionary income to spend on those higher dollar items. You can see moving through here, we're doing a pretty good volume, but it's not a lot of expensive things. Now, they're sprinkled in, so they're nice to have, and that's why I always tell folks, have a good mix. Have your high dollar stuff, because it will sell, but mix it up. I don't want to only sell 1 or 2 things a day at these prices. I want to sell 5 to 10 items a day across all my platforms, so I like to have a nice mix of items, shirts, jeans, remotes, plush. I like to have a nice mix of prices, stuff that's on the lower end, stuff that's on the higher end. And I like to be on a lot of different platforms. And that way we're hitting the volume that we need. But let's jump into the highlights and the plush, all 2 of them. I show you all the plush every week. This week it was only 2, and we're actually still waiting on payment for Stitch. So fingers crossed they come through. I've had Stitch up for $35 plus shipping for a while. He moved here with us from Pittsburgh, so he's been around, but plush is very long tail, very, very long tail. And when you have a big, expensive plush like this, you're absolutely going to sit on it longer, waiting for the right person. It was on our 30% off sale over the weekend, and so the price was about $30, and they offered $27.35. And I thought, you know what? He's been around for a couple years. They're paying shipping. It's already on sale. Things are tough right now. Sales are slow for everyone. So I just took it. Hopefully they'll pay, but I wanted to show him the Disney store Plush do fetch a higher price because they're actual Disney store. I made a post for the Facebook group Flippin Hippos Reseller Pod. Join it if you're not in there. It's a really great group. But I made a post, scheduled it. It'll come out this evening, just talking a little bit more about Disney Plush and flipping those. He will ship in a box. They have the 12 by 12 by 9 boxes on the USPS website you can get for free. I use all of those big boxes for all of my plush that weigh over a pound and for a lot of orders on Poshmark as well. So that's my Stitch. If I remember correctly, I got him for $1.99 at Goodwill, but he's been around for a while. And then this little Easter bunny, he came from a lot. He was probably about 50 cents or $1. He's a realistic mini plush bunny. He's just a generic. You can sell generic plush at bread and butter prices if you do the keywords right. If you optimize your titles with really great keywords, you can absolutely sell generic plushies. He sold for $11.99, and he will ship first class, or he did, in a poly bag. He will ship in a box. He did ship in a poly bag. All right, so next up, we have a PGA Tour men's Windbreaker jacket. This was $1 and a lot. And that's why I like buying wholesale lots. A lot of those bread and butter t-shirts that you saw in our solds were mixed in with things like this. So a lot of what we got in that lot for $1 a piece will sell for like 12 to 18 bucks, the t-shirts, but there were some jackets and some jerseys that went for 40 and 50 bucks. So I like wholesale because you can always get a good mix in there. I like ThreadUp. I did purchase 2 mystery plush boxes from Thrift American. If you guys are familiar with and also watch Robert, the Plush King, as I call him, he gets mystery boxes from there all the time. So I was finally able to get my hands on a couple. And actually, he and I are coordinating right now to try to open those live on one box live on this channel and then do a live show on his channel. So hopefully I can get that going this week for you guys. So anyways, back to this Windbreaker. Kind of just wanted to give you a little pep talk on buying bulk and wholesale and the merits of it. This sold for $21.87. It shipped first class. I have some Paige Canyon crop jeans. Now these came from a ThreadUp, I believe. So they would have been like $1.74. Now these are crops. So these are capris. Capris I typically will list about $5 lower than what I would list full-size jeans of the same brand. So I start most Paige around 30. I wanted these at 25. I'm going up $5 now. 25. And then they went on our 30% off sale over the weekend and sold for $21.87. So that is something we have been doing, is running the 30% off on the weekends. Our prices start at 25% higher than what we really want, so that throughout the week we can run 20% off. And then on the weekends we do 30, which is actually a pretty good discount. And we've been seeing an increase in our weekend sales. Now they were down. We're still, our sell-through rate, the volume we're doing is hovering between 50 to 75% of what it was a year ago or 2 years ago. It's not like it used to be. Things are different. So we are experimenting just like everyone else to see what we can do to get more items to sell. And running sales is one of those ways, guys. All right, Levi's Tilted 504 jeans. I paid about $3 for these on half off at Salvation Army. And these I took a best offer of 25 on. And they, I believe, were first class. Yes. So these were shipped first class. They didn't quite cost as much as a padded flat. Then we have Levi's 505 straight leg jeans. These I paid about $4 or $5 for. I can't really remember, but 5 is my max on these jeans that will comp around 30. And these did sell for $29.99, and they shipped in a padded flat. And then we have some silver Ago bootcut jeans. I can't let a video go by without me at least once reminding everyone to not race to the bottom. Don't chase that fast nickel. You guys know I have to mention it at least once every video, and this is the perfect time. I used to start my silvers at 50, and they would sell for that regularly. And then I would also take offers at 40 and 45. Because folks wanted to race to the bottom, silvers, even starting them at 40 is pretty high right now. If you comp them and look at the solds, that's pretty high, but I'm not really willing to go much lower than that. They'll sell for $39.99. They do on eBay, they do on Poshmark, they do on Mercari. Mine may sit a little bit longer, but this is a good brand of jeans. This was a Bolo brand for a lot of years. It used to sell for a lot of money. And this is just an example, one of many of hundreds of brands that have just kind of been destroyed, decimated. You really can hurt the entire marketplace when you're racing to the bottom. If you want yours to sell faster, go for the middle comps. But don't try to undercut everybody, because if the next person comes in behind me and list them at 35, the next person's going to go 30, the next person's going to go 25, and then it just snowballs downhill, and that's what tends to happen. Anyway, my silver Ago bootcuts sold for $39.99. These were about $5, half off day. Silver's my favorite. Still, I just wish I could get what I used to get for them. Levi's 505 straight leg. Now, these ones I did take a best offer of $21 on, and they shipped in a padded flat. These ones were $2 on half off day, I believe. A lot of how much I'll pay for items, there's a lot of factors that go into it. So if it's going to comp for 30 or higher, or I know I'm going to list it for 30 or higher, sometimes I'm willing to pay up to $5 for a pair of jeans. But I also take into account the size and stuff like that. It's just something that you learn over time. When you're outsourcing comp, pay attention to sizes and what moves quicker, what sets longer, what's a better size to list. Size 6 is kind of meh, but Levi's 505s are good. So maybe I wouldn't be willing to pay $5 for these, but $2 or $3. And it's just something you learn with time. I always tell people, when you're outsourcing, anything you might be feasible, put it in your cart. And then at the end, after you've gone through everything, you can find a quiet corner of the store, inspect all of your items for damage, and comp anything you're unsure of. And that way you don't leave something on the rack, decide you want it, and go back and find out someone else has snatched it. I'd rather have a bunch of stuff to put back than miss out. And as you do this over time, as you get better, you're going to be putting less and less back. You're going to know, you're going to learn. It's just repetition. You'll start to learn more brands, more sizes, things like that. And so you won't be taking as much with you into your quiet corner. And most of what you return at that point will just be something you found as far as damage when you're looking at the stuff. But do always inspect it before you leave. There's nothing worse than getting home and finding out, this has a hole or a stain or something. So yeah, I always recommend just go through everything, grab anything that might be feasible. Don't worry about looking it over for damage. Don't worry about comps while you're at the rack. Go as fast as you can and get whatever you think you may be taking home that day. And then find a quiet corner and look it over. You probably are familiar with this. You probably see resellers doing this all the time in the stores. So that's my advice for this week. My extra advice on top of the what sold. Consider bread and butter. Consider those, items that most people can afford right now or that are willing to part with their money for. Don't race to the bottom. and make sure that you're checking everything before you purchase it. Check the comps. Don't spend money on something unless you know you're going to get a good return on your investment. Check it for damage, and have some of those higher dollar items in your store as well. Have a good mix. Have a good mix of different types, categories, prices, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure you're cross posting to several different platforms. You can try List Perfectly for 30% off your first month with code flippinhippos. And it's actually more than a cross posting tool. It's an entire inventory management system. If you have any questions about List Perfectly, I have a whole playlist on how to utilize it best so that you're getting the most bang for your buck. All right, guys, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns that I haven't covered here, leave it down below. I do answer all the comments I get on the channel. I also am easy to get a hold of in the Facebook group, Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. Tag me in there and I'll get back to you if you have any questions. It doesn't have to be about this video. It can be about anything. Please hit the thumbs up before you leave. It really helps the channel so much. And if you haven't already and you'd like to, please subscribe. Help us support the channel and what we do here, guys. And we do appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Go be productive. Go make some money. Y'all are the best. Bye.